Are you ready for another success story? No, not today. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And I know when you watch these channels, you hear success story here, success story there. But you know what? Today you're going to get a not success story. It's a story of somebody that's a close friend of mine. We are polar opposites. He's good looking, I'm me. He's got hair, I got scalp. He's sartorially speaking my superior, and I am a fashion midget. Okay, here's my major point though. The major difference between us is he is unbelievably skilled with his hands, mechanically speaking. He isn't book smart. He knows how to do things. As an example, this one particular place that he worked was partners with this guy in sort of a repair place. You know, they would both look at stuff, but whenever there was something serious that came in that they couldn't figure out, it was, "Hey, Blaine, come on over here. Take a look at this." And he would look at it, and he would always come up with a solution. Let me tell you a great story about him. Okay? His son was working for a company. And this company, I don't know what it was they were manufacturing, but they had this one machine that they needed to make a particular part or put the pieces together. I don't know the detail, but they had this one particular machine that they counted on, and they had it for, the machine was over 20 years old. And Blaine's son worked for this company, and the machine broke down, and the owner of the machine brought this guy in, brought that guy in, he brought in all these different people, and then Blaine's son finally said, "You know what, my dad can fix anything. He can fix anything." All right, so the guy says, "What have I got to lose?" All right, he says, "Have your dad come in." So Blaine went in, he took a look at the machine. Keep in mind, the machine was like 20 years old, and he looked at it, and he said, and so the owner says, "Well, you know, you've had a few minutes to look at it, anything?" And he says, "You know, I know this machine. I know this machine." And the owner looks at him and he says, "Yeah, well, you know, it's 20 years old." He says, "No, no, no, no." He says, "I know this machine. I built this machine." And the owner is saying, yeah, okay. And he says, "No, no, come here." So the owner comes over and he says, "Here, take a look at this on the plate." And there was a signature that said, "Made by Blaine." All right? He actually made that machine. He made it 20 years earlier. So he knew how to fix it. He fixed it. And the guy was all excited and, you know, was ready to offer him a job. And then the company got sold. So that opportunity went by the boards, and Blaine was out of luck in that particular case. But just as an indicator to you of how skilled he is in terms of making, with how good he is with his hands. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the unsuccess. Let's talk about what was not successful. All right. Anyway, one day I get a call from Blaine. He's in bad shape. All right. He's not in good shape. He's in bad shape. He's in his apartment. And he says, "Eli's dad," he says, "maybe you can help me out." Because he knows that I'm sort of an idea person, that I'm a sales guy, that I talk with people, which are not particular great skills that he has. Once again, his skill is working with his hands. He and I are polar opposites. So I said, "Okay, Blaine, tell me what's the scoop." And he says, "Well, a couple of years ago I invented this machine that goes into swimming pools. I call it the mushroom. All right, and what it does is it goes in the swimming pool, and it just goes around the swimming pool, kind of like those vacuum cleaners that they hit the wall and then they go and they clean the different areas. Well, I was able to do that with my machine in swimming pools, and Eli's dad, nobody else has it. It's better than anything on the market. It's something that I developed." I said, "Well, that's great." He said, "Yeah, here's where I need your help. I took my invention and I sent it to one of these companies where it says, did you invent something? Do you have a great idea? You know, and then and I'm very familiar with those companies because a lot of people have come to me with, you know, having had experiences with them, and typically what they do, I mean, they're in business to make money. Let's not be foolish here, right? So if you have a great invention, they get a piece of that. All right, they're making a lot of money, but that's not where they make the major amount of money. You know where they make the major amount of money is they get people that have an idea, one that they worked on for years, that they submit, that nobody has liked, and they take it to these people, and these people say, yeah, I like that idea. All right, it's going to take some work for us to develop and get it all ready so that we can present it to different people. So what we need you to do is we need you to come up with $800 so that, and that's how they make their money. All right, they get people that have these inventions to invest with them, and they put, you know, a presentation together, and they go to different companies with it, but they may or may not really believe in that particular product. What they're interested in is getting the $800. So why was Wayne's situation different? Because, you know, he sends to this company, and the company called him and said, Blaine, we love your idea. So much so that we want to fly you to our home office in Washington, D.C., first class, to come and talk about it. Now that's not something that they normally do. If you're going to go and they're going to talk to them, you know, they're going to want the $800. They want you to pay, you know, to get there. They're not going to put money out of their pocket. They're there to collect money. But they weren't asking Blaine for any money. So they really did believe in his product. And he got a call from the guy, and the guy's, and so then Blaine called me and said, you know, this is not really, you know, my machine's great, but can you help me out here? And I said, Blaine, I'd be happy to. Call them back and see if they can't get you 2 tickets to go to Washington, and I'll go with you. And they don't have to be first class. We can fly coach. All right, save them a little money. But, you know, I'll go with you on this, and you can, you know, go over different things on the plane. We can go over different things before, make some plans, so on and so forth. So he said, okay. So he calls the guy back, and the guy says, yeah, fine. Bring your buddy with you, no problem. What we need from you is we need some basic outline plans of how your machine is going to work. We don't need to go into the details. I mean, you know, it's going to be your patent. You don't need to give us all the information, but just sort of a general idea, because we like what you said, we like what you did. That's what we need. Well, Blaine has been sick. He's been in the hospital. He's not at full strength. And so he told me what they needed. I said, well, get it ready. Let's go. Let's do it. Come on. I'm on the plane with you. I'll give up some time. I'll go with you to DC and talk with these people. No problem. And he said, well, problem is I can't really find my notes. I submitted it a couple of years ago. I can't really find my notes. I said, well, start over. Do it again. And he said, all right. Okay. And then he never did. He never started over to get the ball rolling. This was his chance to make zillions of dollars. Do you know how many swimming pools there are in the United States? Do you know how many people would love to have something self-cleaning their swimming pool? And the guy from the company would call him every once in a while, and Wayne and Blaine told him, like, you know, here, call my buddy. He's the guy that's going to be working with me. So the guy and I had conversations, and I said, yeah, I know, he's got to do it. And then finally, you know, I called the guy back one day, and I kept getting his voicemail, and didn't hear from the guy for a couple of months. And then I got an email from the company from somebody else that said, well, he's no longer with us, you know, but we like your product, and if you want to move it forward, you know, we're having a discount. Instead of $800, it's going to be $600. I said, oh, Here we go. Here we go. So what's the point of this story? The point of this not success story is you need to be prepared to take advantage of an opportunity when it's presented to you. That's what your life work is looking for opportunities. They're not going to just come to you. You got to go out and you got to get them. Blaine made the right move. He sent the stuff in, and they loved it. But then he didn't follow up with it. For whatever reason, procrastination, he didn't do this. And all of these different things prevented him from being the wealthy person that he could have been, to have his dream fulfilled. But I couldn't get it. I said, get started. Just do the beginning, just do an outline, okay, and there was always a reason why he couldn't do it. And I know that he had the wherewithal to do it, and I know that the product worked because everything he did like that worked. I saw him fix an air conditioning system. He wouldn't even know that much about air conditioning. He went and fixed an air conditioning system in a building where they couldn't get it fixed. I mean, this guy was unbelievably smart with his hands. He could just do things. But you got to have the skill, and you got to have the mind. And most importantly, you've got to follow through. You can't stop halfway. So this is a sad story for me because Blaine has been a close friend, over the years. Now it's mostly kind of one-sided. He's kind of down, which is okay. But when I was down, he was there helping me, and I can never repay him for what he did at that time. I mean, that was near and dear to me. So, but he's also a person, because he's so negative all the time, well, this happened and that happened, that I have to kind of monitor my conversations with him. So it's difficult sailing for me with Blaine. But the point of the story here is look for opportunities. Opportunities don't come labeled. You have to go and look for them. Are you with me on that? And because we're never going to end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's make all our stories success stories. Let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.